Well, ladies and gentlemen, in this episode, we're going to be checking out this segment from Piers Morgan Uncensored featuring Jordan Peterson, where he absolutely wrecks the quote-unquote woke mind virus, specifically the idea of allowing kids to transition, and trust me, he has some strong words for the doctors that have been involved in that disgraceful movement. We know it's absolutely terrible and it shouldn't be happening in any way, shape or form. Now, this discussion comes around because of a situation that Elon Musk went through with his own son, and how he said he was tricked into allowing his son to transition because of the lies that have been told about this whole thing. Medical professionals coming out and saying, look, if you don't allow this to happen, your son could take their life. Which, for these people, these medical professionals, these activists, to come out and say that to any parent just so they can further push this agenda and ultimately make money, it is disgusting. But this is the stunning and brave world a lot of people out there want us to live in. Now, before we get into what Jordan Peterson has to say, if you could, as always, make sure to leave a like rating, especially on videos like this, because we know how these topics end up getting videos censored, suppressed, etc, etc. If you're new and you've stumbled across this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video, comment on this video, share this video, and ladies and gentlemen, let's get into it.
I mean, I found it was a startling thing to watch that and to hear him say that. And we've watched that kind of human tragedy of his family play out in public, because this boy that he had, this son, now identifies in a different way and is very hostile towards him and says so on social media and so on. But what did you feel when Elon Musk, right now, the richest, most successful, and in many ways, most entrepreneurial guy in the world, somebody who is really trying to save the world from itself in many ways through Tesla, through SpaceX, through Neuralink, all these extraordinary things. There he was, just gripped in his own human crisis with his own family because of a mindset which has wrestled his child away from him.
Well, that shows you how pervasive the problem is, especially with regards to our current misconceptions of what constitutes identity. And even someone like Elon Musk has a family that falls prey to it. And, you know, you said at the beginning of this interview that I tend to say things that are, let's say, incendiary, so I might as well do that right now. I think that every single medical professional and psychological professional who has been, who's played a role in facilitating the trans butchery of minor children should be put in prison for the rest of their lives for crimes against humanity. It is the worst medical and certainly psychological scandal that I've ever seen in my entire life. And the only things that I've seen that rival it are the medical experiments that were conducted by the Nazis and the Japanese in the running up to World War II. It's absolutely 100% unforgivable. And that lie that he told Elon Musk, would you rather have a live trans child or a dead child? There's never been a single bit of evidence to suggest that has no grounding whatsoever in empirical fact. It's an absolute bloody lie.
Just imagine hearing that as a parent. You know, we always put these medical professionals on such a high pedestal that when they sit there and say anything, people go, oh, okay, yeah. But just imagine a parent sat across from a medical professional and they're telling them, look, if you do not allow your child to go down this road, they could take their life. Would you prefer your child to be dead or allow them to do this? That is manipulative, and it is the highest level of emotional guilt tripping to, again, just further push this agenda. And they're thinking about the money. And yet, if you disagree with this whole practice, what happens? You get these woke leftist liberals coming out and telling you you're mean, hateful, and they call you all of these awful names. How does that make any sense? It doesn't.
It's pathological beyond belief. We know in the United States, for example, that at least 8,000 young women have been subjected to double mastectomies, minors. And that's the documentation on the insured medical procedure side. So there's a lot more than that. And I also know that puberty blocking drugs are available outside the medical community in the black and gray market at a much higher rate than is occurring within the medical space. And that the fact of this trans epidemic, which is exactly what it is, it's a psychological epidemic, and the liars say those children are all now free to show their true identity, which is another complete bloody lie. All of that's it's so unacceptable. It was so sad to hear Musk walk through that. I mean, there's a world of grief behind that story, and there's plenty of stories like it. I can't believe as well, I mean, this is one of the things that I hold seriously against the Democrats in the United States, let's say, the Liberals in Canada and the Labour Party in the UK, is that if you people are behind this identity politics and you think that it's a good idea to free up young women in particular to find their true identities as men, there is something seriously sick about you. It's inexcusable. It's absolutely inexcusable. There is no evidence whatsoever for any of those gender transformation identity claims, as the Cass report clearly indicated. So, you know, the UK has walked back a little bit, but not the US and not Canada. And so it's really, Jesus, Piers, the more you know about that surgery, the more it will, like, it'll curdle your spine. It's experimental medicine conducted by butchering sadists at its absolute worst. What they do to people to transform them into, what would you say, malfunctioning pseudo members of the opposite sex it's far beyond brutal. And I would like to also point out clinically that there's been evidence for a very long time that sadists are overrepresented in the profession of surgery. And all you have to do is think for about 15 seconds before you could figure out why that might be. So yeah, it's really, man, as far as moral crimes go, sterilization and mutilation of children, involuntary, because they cannot consent to such medical procedures. And so that's a crime against humanity in accordance with UN definitions. And so I just think it's to call it reprehensible is to barely scrape the surface.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll stop till there are the right length of prison sentences for the people who've been involved in it.
I totally agree. Any medical professional, any person in this industry who has been a part of it needs to be jailed. How can a movement that is pushing young people to go down that path of taking chemicals, cutting parts of their body off, how is that not demonic? Thankfully, we've, as Jordan Peterson said, gone backwards on this whole thing when it comes to puberty blockers. But in places like America and Canada, it's still a big thing. People out there, kids, young adults, are being brainwashed by social media, the education system, even their own parents, to believe they're the opposite gender. That to me is just purely evil. They are ruining a child's life forever. And even if they reach the point where they want to detransition, they still have to live with all of that trauma that they experienced whilst they were going through the opposite side of it. And these deranged individuals within the medical profession who, again, are all for this jail time. And they should really be ashamed of themselves. I don't know how they sleep at night. I don't know how they look themselves in the mirror knowing what they've done. That's what the woke mind virus does to people. It is dangerous and it has no place within society. But leave your thoughts down below, ladies and gentlemen, on that. What are your thoughts on what Jordan Peterson had to say? I'd like to know. If you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like rating. If you're new, hit that subscribe button, turn on bell notifications so you never miss a video. Comment on this video, share this video, follow my socials down below in the description. But until next time, it has been your boy JD. Have a great day, stay safe, and I'm out. Peace.